Joining us now is head women's basketball coach Kelly Baskow. Now, Coach, you guys had a tremendous run at the end of the year, taking CNU to the ropes 3 times, including in the CAC championship tournament, and also beating the likes of Southern Virginia and also Mary Washington during the season, and also having played some tough games at the end of the year. Now, what was some of the keys to that success towards the end of the year?
I think that it was just accumulation of the whole season. We had some really tough opponents really early in our conference or non-conference play. We were a very young squad with not a whole lot of experience, so we were throwing people in. We also faced a lot of injury early. So we were just really fighting a lot of adversity in the beginning, and I think that just made us stronger as we got on, and I think that we just started believing. As things started clicking, we started getting more comfortable with each other. These girls fought no matter what in every single game the whole entire season. And I know sometimes it was frustrating for them in the beginning. And we just kept saying to my staff, it's going to come, it's going to come. And they believed in that, and they had each other's backs the whole entire season. And so I think once they got a few under their belt, they really started believing, okay, we can do this, we can compete. And they really did. And they were very committed to each other, different people stepping up at different times, especially the freshmen gaining experience and, the sophomores becoming more of leaders. And I think once that started clicking, that helped us play stronger towards the end, and having some more experience under our belt really made us a little bit more confident going into playoffs.
So what was kind of like the turning point of the season? Kaylee Otlowski, your all-CAC first-teamer, kind of stepped out in a big way this year. She averaged a double-double pretty much the entire year. What was some of the key factors into that turnaround during the year?
I think just like you said, that confidence, like actually doing it and looking at it, especially for Kaylee. Kaylee, no one's harder on themselves than her. And we just be like, why are you so hard on yourself when you're doing such great things? And I think once they actually, she saw it, and I think a little bit after Christmas, Emily Dilger also started seeing it more, and our guards were being more aggressive defensively and causing a lot of different things to happen. And Lauren Fortescue came around a lot too on the offensive end. So I think once they were able to really see it and see it, we did a lot of film, and even though not looking at the results all the time, but actually breaking down clips and seeing specific plays where it was working and what they were getting done. I think that confidence after Christmas and when we're together so much during that winter session really was the turning point for them and our team.
So now let's talk about you said you had a young team this year.
Yeah.
When you're out on the road recruiting, I know this is going to be a crazy time. You're not going to be on the road as much, especially during this time of staying at home, things like that. What are you looking for in the next student athlete when they come to Salisbury?
When we go out and we're recruiting, obviously we're always looking for fundamentals. We want people that are fundamentally strong, but we also are looking for it factor. We want somebody that is going to dive on the floor, is being a great teammate, is always hustling to save the ball from out of bounds. Can they take instruction from their coaches? Are they high-fiving their teammates? Are they rolling their eyes at the refs, and things like that nature? Because, we think that all the other things we can teach them, and they can come into our system and they'll learn and they're going to grow. And that's one of the exciting things about my job, is getting to see how much they grow from when they first get here. But I think there's certain intangibles that are harder to teach. And, we're looking for people that especially are competitive. That's one thing we harp on at our practices every day, is that we want to compete against each other to get better. And then that carries over into a game. And I think that's a hard thing to teach. Our girls hate to lose, especially against each other, no matter what we're doing. It could be a silly game to playing 5-on-5. And so I think that really motivates and makes our team stronger when we can find the players that really can mesh right in and jump right in and have that same attitude. But being a team player is obviously going to be a huge factor for us as well, because I think that really drives our team, and different people stepping up at different times and no one really caring where the credit comes from, as long as, we're all fighting for the same goal to be successful as a team.
So how are you staying connected with the team during this time? This season or the year kind of got cut short a little bit right after spring break. So how are you staying connected with the team?
Yeah, it's hard. We miss them. You never thought that we would miss them this much. You go through summer, but you're kind of prepared for the summer, and usually you're on the road, so you're kind of busy. And especially because of how we ended, I think the team, the coaches were really excited to see how they attacked the or the spring semester. So we're doing Zoom meetings. We do academic meetings with them once a week individually, so we get to touch base, see how they're handling doing the online classes. And really, it's interesting to learn from them how different professors are handling that. We've done some Instagram takeovers on our stories. So I know that everyone's kind of seeing what they're doing every day, which I think is, for me especially, really neat to just see them at home and how they're getting through the days during this time. Obviously them and, as a group, as, players, they have Snapchat and all their social media that they're really sticking together. We're going to put them in groups as well too, and try and have them, motivate each other that way when it comes to lifting and academics and running and just staying fit. And we're just trying to communicate. And obviously we have a group text that we're just constantly communicating with one another. So it's just hard not to see them, in mags every day.
How big is that communication factor during this time?
I think it's huge. I think it's huge for them and for the coaching staff, I mean, this is why we do this, the relationships that we build with them. It's not just on the court. And so it's a hard time for everyone. And so I think that we rely on our teammates and they rely on their teammates to help us get through this. And it's going to help us grow too. During the off season, we talk a lot about different types of topics and events and stuff like that that helps us grow off the court. And so I think it's really important that we still have that line of communication, so that line of trust is still there. So when we get back on campus in the fall, we can hit the ground running and we haven't skipped a beat.